Blue Wire. Kirk Cousins, he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. This was the right call.
Cousins pressure, hit as he throws, going for Thielen. He's got it! Touchdown! Oh my Diggs! Stay up! Oh my God! Oh my God! 30! No way! Touchdown! It's a Minneapolis miracle!
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. We are part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Tyler Haig. I'm joined as always by Mr. Adam Patrick, and very special occasion today. We are also joined by Amory Castillo for the entire episode. Welcome, Amory Castillo.
Yay!
How are you?
I'm great. I'm just overly excited. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Well, we engage on Twitter and social media, but I haven't been on the pod in a while, so happy to be back.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back.
Let's start. Oh, well, first we should tell everybody, follow Amory Castillo. It's part-time bro, part_time_bro. Basically
Yeah, on
everything.
all platforms.
All platforms. Search that. You'll find her. It's totally worth a follow. Let's start with, I guess, just general reaction to the season now that it's over. What did you think of the season on the whole? Struggle, success? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Where are you at with it?
I thought it was overall good. Even I'm an overly optimistic individual. This is what the only things I was unhappy with is besides the first. I don't know. I feel like both Bears and Packers games I was just upset with at the beginning of the season, end of the season. I don't understand. Like especially the last two games of the regular season. But in general, I was happy how we played in the postseason, and I'm kind of happy that Kevin Stefanski left. I'm not mad at him. I just think we need a better fit for our offense. But I was happy to have him, and I still believe in Kirk. No, I was proud of. I thought we did well. I think we're a good team. We just need to make some improvements.
Yeah, for sure. Some tweaks. That's all. Adam,
now that
you've had a week or whatever to digest it, where are you at with this season?
Oh, jeez.
I've kind of been trying to figure that out. Like, I don't know what to think of this year. Like, should they start over? Or should they, keep rolling? I know they have like no money to spend. It's just, I don't know where to go from here because I feel like they've tried a lot up to this point. Like they've invested in their defense. They got the quarterback. They paid the receivers. They're gonna have to pay Dalvin Cook. Like the defense is on a decline. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason. I feel.
But
like.
I thought our postseason, our defense was so great.
Oh, it was.
I saw the old defense. I was like, there we are.
But they still need to make some big changes because
our secondary, our cornerbacks. That's what I was going to ask you guys. Our cornerback situation. I'm like, you have these young people, but you don't have any like veterans except like Xavier. It's like I don't know. There's so many little pieces. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem. Yeah, it has a chance of being a totally different roster at the beginning of next season because of all those things. Because they basically don't have any corners like on roster basically right now. Who's going to stay? Who are they going to like keep? I mean, if they keep Xavier Rhodes, it's going to have to be at not that price.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
So it could totally be like a completely different roster. But the season on a whole, I thought was, I mean, are we now to the point where anything less than an NFC championship is like a total failure? And I can't jive with. Like, were there, like you said, there are definitely a couple of games that you wanted to, a couple of games that are the difference between having home games in the playoffs and not.
True.
In the NFC this season, reminder, the 49ers were literally 6 inches away from being a 5 seed and not being in this position possibly. So, I mean, I think they're a lot better than everybody else in the NFC, but, like, I don't think the Vikings are that bad. I don't think you have to blow it up. I mean, there's going to be moves, there's going to be tweaks, but...
They still have a good core of players.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great way to put it.
That is a great thing. But just the only thing I'm worried about is our offensive line, and it's people God, I've never met so many bipolar fans about a quarterback with Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm like, okay, like between our offensive play calling and our offensive line, I don't know if it's Kirk either. I'm not saying it's not his fault. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Well, there's a couple games this year you could put maybe the loss on his shoulders, like the Bears game earlier in the year.
God.
But there are also, I was looking back, there's a lot of games you could put the loss on the defense, because there's times where Kirk Cousins and he's led the offense down the field on what could have been game-winning drives, and then the defense, poops the bed and gives up the game-winning field goal or touchdown. So
I think that's a huge part of the bipolar reaction with especially the quarterback, is because we went for such a long stretch there where it was like, oh my God, if we could just get a quarterback who was a little bit better than this, if we could just get a little bit better than this. And then we got the quarterback who was a little bit better than that. And then the defense regressed to a more normal, not world destroying defense. And now we can't be sure if Kirk is going to be good enough to do that. Whereas Case Keenum was totally good enough to do that. And that doesn't jive for people's brains.
For 1 year.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that that's the bipolar, is you see it's like Case Keenum almost obviously is not as good at being a quarterback as Kirk Cousins is, but yet he got to a point where Kirk Cousins can't seem to get them. And I think it's maybe more on the regression of the defense, the not good offensive line, than it is on Kirk specifically.
In 2017, we had a better, well, not saying we have a better running game because Dalvin was out a couple games, but then also our defense was insane.
They didn't have to.
It wasn't just Case Keenum. It's like Jimmy G right now. That guy has a freaking crazy.
Yes.
Offensive line. He didn't throw the ball yesterday. The run block was insane. I was like, oh my God.
No, I want to talk about this because when Jimmy G throws the ball 15 times in 2 games or in 6 quarters or whatever it's been, people are like, wow, what an efficient offense. This is great. Kirk Cousins throws the ball 5 times in 1 game, and they're like, this isn't sustainable. This is garbage. This team is horrible.
Yeah.
Tannehill did that too, though.
That's what I'm saying. In one setting, it makes a lot of sense. It is cool. I think that says so much more about how hyper analytical, we look at what he's doing so much closer than any other position than any other player, where even when the same guy in the same offense in the same setting can throw for less yards, less frequency, and it's like, God, he's a great quarterback. That kid knows how to win.
Amazing.
And then it's like, wow, Kirk's 0-9 on Monday Night Football. But it's like the same.
I don't even think Christian Ponder had this big of a microscope.
I honest to God, I would agree. It's true, and I think this is sad to say, but I think Teddy did it. It was like once the Teddy thing happened, we were all donezo. We had no shot. It was whoever was going to come up to bat the next 3 times. We were going to be like, not good enough. We don't believe in you.
Yeah, that was a lot of events. Though it was like I remember it was in 1 year was it coaching, and then AP gets suspended, Teddy gets hurt. It was just a whole momentum.
No, we've talked about
general.
it. Zimmer has never had a season where there wasn't a catastrophic event. I think this was as close as you could get to calling a non-catastrophic.
And we still had a DUI.
And
we can't keep an offensive coordinator either. I don't Jesus Christ.
That's the thing too. But 2 of them have been hired to be head coaches, so that's what you want, right?
You want success, but at a certain point, you have to also want continuity too. And I understand that. I want to ask you guys. Speaking of continuity, do you think it is? I mean, obviously, there are going to be changes in the offense because it's not Stefanski calling the plays anymore. But do you think it's the right call for them to bring in the dude's kid for both sides of the ball? Are we really going to hire Mike Zimmer's kid for the defensive coordinator and Kubiak's kid as the offensive coordinator? Because you could speak to some continuity. Who's going to know better what their dads want than the kid who grew up watching how they do it? Something to be said for that. I would hate it personally, but something to be said for it.
I don't know, but can I just say too, when Kevin Stefanski, but what I don't understand is when okay, I know it was the last drive against the Saints in the overtime, how aggressive our offensive was, or even playing a lesser team, the Denver Broncos second half, when we played aggressive offense, I didn't understand the offensive play calling throughout the whole season. We were such
it was very hard
all over the place team. I'm what are we doing? what are we doing? So
I think that's a fair criticism, because then when you really needed them to do something, it felt like they also couldn't adjust and do what they needed to do.
I
You know,
don't
it was
understand.
Like they were stuck in ruts sometimes.
Well, as soon
was-
as Dalvin Cook couldn't do anything, it seemed like then they were like,
they like shut
what do
down.
we do?
But you have so many offensive weapons, and
Yeah.
you have a deep running game and CJ Ham. So like, I don't understand.
But
Pro Bowl fullback, CJ.
Pro Bowl CJ Ham, holla holla holla.
Let's give credit to the 49ers though, because they're very good. They have a very good defense.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. Do you think the way that game played out says more about how good the 49ers are, or does that make you feel better about the Vikings loss, I guess
For
is the question.
sure, yes.
It doesn't.
I think just
They
with
weren't losing 27-0 at the half.
Oh, and you know what? I was out doing shows last night when watching the games, and I was getting criticized like, "Oh, this looks like the game last week." I was like, "This looks nothing like the game last
Yeah, it was
week."
competitive last week.
We were in the game
Yeah.
until the third quarter, till the end of the third quarter, and we were exhausted. We were out of gas,
Yeah, that's
and
a
we
great way to
couldn't
put it.
produce. We were out of gas. You could just see it. We were out of gas, and we could produce no offense. So that's why they won.
I completely agree with it. And then if you match those teams all up again, I feel like the Vikings would finish. I don't think they beat San Francisco again if they play 'em. I feel like the Vikings lose that probably 4 out of 5 times. However,
Yeah.
I feel like the Vikings would have stacked up with anybody else in the NFC.
I think we would have.
playoff-wise.
I think we could.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Niners are beatable, though. I'm not saying it's. I don't know. I was more worried about the Saints than the Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. We're going to talk more about the Super Bowl predictions a little bit later. Vikings specifically in the future. We talked a little bit about the quarterback stuff, obviously. Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, they are going to need extensions or not at a certain point. Do you feel like, I mean, they're separate conversations. We could do full episodes on each individually. Do you think it's the right time to stick with Kirk Cousins? Do you think it's the right time
Yes.
to stick with Dalvin Cook? Do you think yes on both? Extension for Kirk Cousins, you think?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. I just am okay. So extension means like keep
Lower
getting
debts.
all
the
this
best way.
millions
That's
of
how-
dollars.
That's how
Yeah, more
everybody
money.
feels.
More money.
I don't know.
He gets, well, because I'm sick of like I feel like we just can't keep a boyfriend here. It's like I mean you can't lock one down.
You also don't want to be stuck.
You don't. It's like so
True.
you don't want to
Unhappy
settle.
Marriage. Nobody
It's
wants
like
Yeah.
it's like you don't want to
Yeah.
settle, but it's
Yeah.
like God damn, I just want the franchise quarterback.
Is that too much? Yeah. Is it too wrong for us to hope for Mr. Right this season? Is that wrong for me? I don't feel like it is.
It's just
I
funny.
feel
I'm
like
like, I guess we'll sell for Kirk, and then like you watch like someone like Joe Burrow have this game. You're like, we want him. I'm like, guys, calm down. Everyone, just calm down.
Dude, that's my big fear is that, okay, you move on from Kirk Cousins, let's say. Now you're leaving it up to that whole squad to figure out, like, who is
No.
going to be the next guy. I don't trust them to do that
I-
either. I don't think they can
I think we
find
should
the,
stick
like...
with Kirk. I think we should stick with Kirk.
He had a great season.
He
He
did, for
did.
sure. Here's the way
He had
I've
his
been,
best
like,
season
arguing...
in the NFL so far.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
The way I've been arguing it on Twitter is the alternative, say you draft a quarterback this year or bring somebody else in, you're at least a year or two away from that quarterback production being better than what Kirk can give you over the next 2 years. So for me, it doesn't make any sense to get rid of him, set yourself
Yeah.
back, and then so you're gonna load up on the other side of the ball, but eventually you're gonna have to pay that guy again. You know, it just
Yeah.
doesn't.
You
It
could
seems
just
like
do
over the
like
next
a-
2 years for this window, it has to be.
Just
just
give
do-
him a shot, man. I mean, we're
Yeah.
building something here.
Well, you could just do like a Jimmy G sort of situation where the Patriots, they drafted somebody and then he wasn't going to become the starter, so they traded him away and they got,
To me,
compensation
that
for him.
has to be the play. You have
Yeah.
to take a quarterback
You need a
early,
backup
see what
quarterback.
you have. Yeah, and then for
Yeah,
the
they
next
do need
2
a backup
years,
because
yeah.
Sean Mannion is
Mannion, no, we need
No,
we need a backup quarterback.
Kyle Slaughter.
He's
Don't-
on the
don't-
Lions. He's
don't
on the
start
Lions
this.
now.
I know.
I like Slaughter.
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Let's take Eli Manning for our backup.
Oh boy.
No, Phillip Rivers, he's moving on to
Phillip
San Diego. So
Yeah, he just moved.
The Vikings like that. We like taking an old, damaged
Yeah,
man.
we're waiting
Unfortunately.
for Aaron Rodgers to be on the last couple
No,
of years.
I would
Oh, yeah.
throw up.
he's probably 4 years away from that. He seemed disinterested yesterday, so
Oh.
I'm sure he'll be moving.
I'm
on
not
soon.
hating. I don't. But I was happy the Packers lost. I always will be. But
Oh yeah.
I'm just not. I don't care.
I feel like this one was really special because not only did the Packers lose, but I also wound up feeling better about how the Vikings played. You know,
Yeah.
even though it was like a week later, I was like, "Oh, okay, they actually were not even that bad." I was really pissed before, but like they
It also
okay.
it also quieted, the Packers fans who are like, we're not frauds, we were 13-3 and we were NFC North champs, and then
Oh, don't even get me started.
we just
Honestly,
beat
though,
the Seahawks with no starting running backs.
one of the most enjoyable things I hear on the radio is Score North does the Packers vent line. They will play the Packers calls on their line. Oh, magical. Just delusional. Delusional.
Fire
folks.
everybody, right?
It's amazing, yeah. And Aaron Rodgers is the problem. And like, what are we doing here? He's got a terrible attitude.
See, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
It's magic. It's
See,
like the
they know
funniest
what
thing
it's
ever.
like.
They
Can you
actually
imagine-
opened their
like-
Vikings vent line today.
Can you imagine what the
Packers
the
calls.
Saints radio probably sounded like after the Vikings loss?
Nope.
I don't know.
It's
Did you
chaos.
see Michael Thomas's tweets?
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah, what is
Like,
up
calm
with
down.
that?
Calm down. Wait, did you guys see Richard Sherman and Darrell Revis going at it today?
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
I didn't see
it's-
that.
I just got some enjoyment for you.
Oh,
I just
no.
could.
I'll
I
have
got
to
some
check that
popcorn
out.
and I was just enjoying the show all day.
Before we move on, what about Dalvin Cook? Do we stick with Dalvin Cook? Because running back is
Yeah.
a position that you can kind of.
Yeah, but you got to give
It's
him like
easier
a
to
super incentive based contract. Like
Mhm.
he's been hurt his first.
I'm so attached to these people.
yeah,
No,
I know.
that's the worst part about it is you gotta-
give him money, but then look at look at all the big money.
He's so nasty, though. I
the
love
big
him.
money deals that the running backs around the league have gotten, like Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley,
Actually,
and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna play anymore. So
you make a great point, and that's the thing to do is get him on an extension now, an incentive-based extension, so that in 2 years we'll be like, oh my God, we're stealing from him. Like this is a hilariously low contract.
look what they did with Daniil Hunter. Like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they got
just like
Ah, I love
bargain. Well,
we're gonna
for
have to
other
pay
reasons,
him
no.
again too, but we'll cross
that. We're
that.
gonna have to pay a lot of people.
Yeah, and that I think honestly,
they don't have any money.
And Everson.
Nah,
I
he's
feel
up.
like the Dalvin Cook thing, from a financial standpoint, if you can't get him to sign something that's team friendly and incentive based, that's kind of an easy decision because you could replace that productivity with other running backs.
Yeah,
It would make me very sad. I feel like he's one of the best players in the NFL, but if he can't stay healthy for the full 16, I mean, it's tough to pay
Games.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough to pay him. Moving on.
Oh, I love him.
Who do you expect for like long-term Vikings? Like you said, Everson Griffin. Who do you expect to not be here next?
Xavier
season?
Rhodes.
Xavier Rhodes is one.
But-
Griffin, I think, is
I mean,
another one.
are we saying who we hope or we don't think? No.
No, yeah,
Could be
not
both.
hope. Yeah.
Sean Mannion.
well.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Xavier
no,
Rhodes.
Mannion Peace.
Wowsies.
I predict
Maybe-
a new punter, even though they shouldn't.
No, they should bring him back.
But they
Yeah.
won't. But
He
they
was
won't.
good.
Oh, he was great. No touchbacks again. You know what happened the last time a guy didn't have any touchbacks as a punter? See ya.
See ya. What a
Yeah,
run.
but they learned.
Dan Bailey was
He
a
was good.
special, like FedEx Special Player of the Week, like a million times this year.
He
Unfortunately,
missed
'cause
2
we couldn't-
kicks. He's a Vikings kicker, and he missed 2 kicks.
Wowsies.
I think-
Who
yeah.
can I see? Besides Xavier, I'm very attached to our team.
Maybe Linval, because his cap hit is pretty high, and he's getting up there.
No,
in age.
I can't. I'm attached to all these people.
I know. Riley Reed
And
probably
Everson?
he could be on his
Oh,
way
Riley
out.
Reef, Mr. Hold'em can leave.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I think he has like
Mr.
a
Reef can-
$13 million cap
Oh,
hit
no, he
next
can
year,
leave.
so-
Bye-bye. Bye,
Yeah, he'll
Reef.
be gone. But who do you replace him with, and is it going to be as good as Riley Reef? And I don't know if it.
But what
I
is-
don't know
what
if
is
he'd
as
be
good as
worse.
Riley Reef?
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
if he'd
sick
be a
of
lot worse.
holding
but-
on to him. I'd like to let him go. Okay.
I don't think Rashad Hill is like that much worse than Riley Reef.
No.
It's so tough to tell, but yeah,
Okay, yeah,
Probably.
Reef Rhodes. You say our punter,
Griffin.
and Sean Mannion.
and Griffin.
I would love to see Griffin come back, and he played well enough to deserve to
Oh yeah.
come back, but they just aren't going to have enough money to figure it out. Although
don't.
Xavier Rhodes is going to help, Mackenzie Alexander might not be back. You also have to sign
Trey Wayne.
Harris. Trey Waynes probably won't be back. Yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. It's
This
gonna be
is
chaos.
a crazy year.
This defense is going to be nuts. And this
Wow,
also, we don't know what they're going to do, like draft-wise and,
Yep.
like all these different moves. It could be a
Gonna draft a
complete
kicker.
shift to, yes, a different way. Or a long snapper. We've seen it. We've seen it.
A long snapper.
God, it was horrible. Long snapper who might not even play. We found out,
Hey,
yes, he's
you know
playing
what?
now. But
He is good, and he's good.
I like
I mean,
the
he's not
optimism.
bad. He's not bad. He's not bad.
Okay.
I don't even know how you judge it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. He
Offensive
hasn't
line and
screwed it up.
quarterbacks. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Not all I want, but that's what I want. That's
The
a
off-
priority for me.
The thing about the offensive line, though, I'll make this first before we continue. It's progressing. It's heading in the right direction. I think the left side is what needs to be fixed. Pat Elflein, Riley Reef, you got to figure out what's going on there.
70, 74. Bye-bye.
But on the right side, you got Brian O'Neill and Josh Klein, and then Garrett Bradbury. He was a rookie, but he can get better.
I worry that Bradbury and Elflein aren't going to shape into what they need them as good as they need them to be.
Well, you might be.
I
You might be able to
Elflein
blame some.
already.
Yeah, you might be able to blame some of Bradbury's struggles on Elflein too, because Bradbury has to work with the guards in there a lot of the times, and Elflein could have been the one screwing up, and there's a good chance that he was the one screwing up. So
True that. A great chance of that, actually.
Oh my God, I didn't realize how much chaos is about to happen.
yeah, it's
Oh
gonna
my
be a big
God.
offseason.
Yeah, it's
Holy crap.
and they have
be a lot
they-
happening.
and right now
This
they
is going
have
to be a big growing year.
negative $9 million.
That's what I was going to say, and they're over the cap currently,
Yeah.
so there are definitely going to be players that we want to stay.
Right.
Players like Griffins and Mackenzie Alexanders who are not
Then
going to be able
they'll
to.
still have Daniel Hunter,
Although
Smith.
Rob Brzezinski, salary
Yeah.
cap
Oh,
guru
yeah.
magician dude, never rule out anything because
Yeah.
the cap still might be a myth. We don't know.
Let's start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, never
Yeah,
rule out
just-
never rule out a Stephon Diggs trade.
You know,
Excuse
GoFundMes
me,
and
watch
things
your
like and things like that. Though this is commonplace. The Patriots circumvent the cap in ways
Hey,
like this.
Tom
Just
Brady
start-
I might be leaving, so
Yeah, that's true.
It's chaos this year. This whole offseason is going to be chaos. Let's, I guess let's end on this. What do you think is going to happen in the Super Bowl? What is your prediction, both of you?
Oh,
and
man.
Do you think if you had a choice and you could build the Vikings in the mold of either team, Chiefs or San Francisco. Granted, you don't have Pat Mahomes, so judge accordingly. But if you could build one in either way,
Take him out of the equation.
in that mold. Well, I mean, just like the offense, like an Andy Reid offense with a really good quarterback.
Oh, I would
And
like
then
a-
San Francisco like Reid option with a really decent quarterback. I don't know. Which one
I
would you
would-
rather have?
I would like a offensive line like the 49ers.
Yeah.
And a quarterback like Pat Mahomes.
Like Pat Mahomes. I would like Jimmy G to
The
be my
defense,
boyfriend.
like the 90s.
Jimmy
Just
G
kidding.
can sit by me.
The front line. No, I love the Vikings front line. I mean,
yeah.
I'm power to the 49ers, but I'm like, I want a kicker like gold. No, just kidding.
That actually, yeah, if you take all of the best of both sides, that's a pretty decent team, actually.
I like Andy Reid's play calling. I like Patrick Mahomes.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, I
the
just
Chiefs
want Patrick Mahomes, I
speedy
think.
receivers.
Yeah, I just want Patrick Mahomes
Hey.
to just do that. Because think about how bad you can. Okay, let's do this. Patrick Mahomes plays for the Browns. How many wins do they have? Patrick Mahomes plays for the
yeah.
Giants. How many
True.
wins do they have? Patrick
So-
Mahomes plays for the Vikings. How many wins do they have?
So you
Oh,
guys,
he's gonna-
you guys,
he plays,
yeah,
If he plays for the Vikings, he's gonna blow out his knee. So
yeah.
Womp womp.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you saying we need a mobile quarterback?
no, I'm saying he's gonna. It's what happens to the Vikings. They're
know.
cursed.
I'm
Sometimes-
aware.
I'm saying
Yeah.
we need a mobile quarterback. I don't.
Don't
think-
worry.
Well,
I have a
but
plan.
I
I
think
feel like
the
a
thing-
curse is going to be lifted this year.
I think the thing I've learned the most from this playoffs is no one knows anything because the Ravens were the number one seed. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're gonna go all the
Yeah.
way." They lost first game. The Saints lost in the first round. The Vikings, they're supposed to be the best team in the NFC.
Titans beat
Beat
the
the Saints.
Patriots.
The Titans, yeah, the Titans made the AFC championship.
This was just
Like,
crazy.
Everything
I'm gonna enjoy
you
the
know,
Super Bowl.
it goes out the window in the playoffs. Oh yeah, I'm glad the teams that made the Super Bowl.
It's going to be a
but,
great
like,
Super Bowl.
It's
but-
gonna be fun. Who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl?
I want the Chiefs to win.
I do too, for some reason.
I want Andy Reid. I think I would be happy
Yeah.
for Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be mad. This is the first time I just wouldn't be mad if either I
Like,
usually
fun.
root.
Good game.
Well, no, it's not that I root for the NFC. I think the world's just glad the Patriots aren't in there. I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
that's
kind of where
the
I'm at. Is
I
I
feel
don't
like
hate
that's
either
the
of these teams.
theme
So
of this postseason is just everyone's like, well, it's not the Patriots.
But they're still kind of there. You got Jimmy G and Wes Welker's on the 49ers coaching staff, so they're
it's
still
true.
there.
And also, be careful what you wish for because the Kansas City Chiefs have a really good young quarterback and a really
Yep.
good coach. They might be a problem like the Patriots have been. 10 years from now, we might be like, oh my God, I'm so sick of Pat Mahomes.
Dude,
and
that's
the
so sick.
stupid Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because they might be that good.
The
Like, they
Patriots
they
used to
might
be
do
the
that.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Everyone used to love the Patriots when they were the underdogs, beating the Rams and everything that first year.
I remember being absolutely thrilled that
Yeah.
Tom Brady won that Super Bowl. What a fun story!
And then
Very
20
quickly, not so much.
20 years later,
Over it.
everyone's like,
Come-
we're good.
Over it. All right, you got to go.
Guys, I have to go.
Oh,
Have
But
fun
this
on
was
television.
so fun. I'm so sorry. I will.
Don't be sorry. You got to go on TV. It's totally
Compound
cool.
Media, but I always love chatting with you guys.
all right.
Thank you for being here. Who do you
Sorry, I
think is
have
going
to
to win
go.
the Super Bowl?
Yeah, real quick.
The Niners.
All right.
Word up. Thanks for joining
I
us.
don't know why. I feel like, anytime, guys. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you.
Oh, we'll have you back.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was good.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Who do I think? I think the Niners are going to win, but I want the Chiefs to win.
Mhm.
I think the Niners defense is just too good. That defensive line is ridiculous.
They really are so good.
And the Chiefs, they were down 10-0 to the Titans. I think if you go down 10-0
Mhm.
to the Niners, I don't think you're coming back as easily. But I don't know. How much were they down to the Texans? They were down 24-0, weren't they?
I know, and that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. It was more than it was last week. But that's the thing about. I think I might want San Francisco to win, or rather think that they're going to win.
Then you'd be like the Vikings lost to the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. Or because I saw them, and I was the last 2 weeks. I've been very impressed with San Francisco.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know how you can look at Patrick Mahomes and the stuff that he's doing and be like, can't pick them.
And their
Got to
receiver
go with the other team. I just can't
so
because he's
fast.
so good. He's so good. Every time I think he's like, well, I was explaining it to like a coworker.
Oh, by the way, that run that he had, it was great. But can we stop acting like it was like the best play ever? People are like, it's the craziest play I've ever seen. Lamar Jackson had 9 of those
a
runs this
million
year.
of those. Yes. I will say this about Patrick Mahomes, and this is what I was going to say. A coworker, I was talking with him about it. It's a lot like LeBron James. It's like the grandma test, right? You stick my grandma in front of a television, and she's never seen any sports ever, whatever. She would be able to tell right away that Patrick Mahomes was easily the best player on the field.
Oh, yeah.
He is just on another level from the next. It's like LeBron James was for a stretch, and still I guess kind of is. But LeBron James, when he was 20, he jumped higher than everybody. He was faster than everybody. He was bigger than everybody. He made plays that nobody else was going to be capable of making. And I feel like we're seeing some of that from Patrick Mahomes right now. Where was that the greatest run of all time? No, but I don't know if there's anybody else on that field who could make a play like that in that situation. I mean, that was right before halftime. That.
Yeah.
That's a field goal versus that was a big play. It wasn't the greatest ever, but-
It was a big play. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I think it's gonna be a good game. But the 49ers being in it just always reminds me of the time I convinced my wife that the 49ers were called the San Francisco 69ers.
Get out of here.
So that's always just fun memory to have whenever
Real
I
quick,
see them.
all-time favorite 49er, all-time favorite Kansas City Chief.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I think my all-time favorite 49er is...
Oh, definitely Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I did. Totally wasn't on my list, but great call. Oh, God. I heard Ricky Waters the other day. That made me laugh. He's not my favorite, but that is what I'm thinking is those...
What a name drop.
94. Yeah, the
J.J.
94.
Stokes.
Yes, J.J. Stokes is exactly who I thought.
Dana Stubblefield.
Oh, yeah, man. Steve Young. Who else was on that team? Ricky Waters, Dana Stubblefield.
T.O.
T.O. Early baby braces T.O. Crying because he made a big play and he was so pumped. Oh.
Garrison Hurst, Frank
We've come
Gore.
a long way. Yeah, Frank Gore. God, he has been playing
Wasted
a
half
long
of his
time.
whole career on the Niners.
He has been playing a long time. That's crazy. Kansas City Chiefs. Who was the guy that used to wear the colorful tape on his...
Neil Smith?
Yeah, that guy. He used to play for the Chiefs, right?
Yep, Neil Smith.
He's my favorite.
Who else was on there? Joe Montana was there.
Oh, no way. Elvis
Marcus
Gerbach.
Allen.
Without a
Elvis
doubt, Elvis
Gerbach.
Gerbach is my
Remember
favorite
when Ravens
Kansas
thought
City
he was
Chief.
going to be like the greatest thing ever?
He was the first guy. I didn't know that you could name your kid Elvis.
Ooh.
I thought that was just for
I got a
the
good
one guy. But
favorite.
it
I
turns
got a
out
good
there's
favorite
more Elvis.
chief, Mr. Priest Holmes.
Oh, that is a good one. Who was the Hall? The
Dante
punt
Hall?
returner? Dude, that was fun too.
Yeah,
He was-
human
he was fun to
joystick.
watch. Yeah. I like that he always rolled his sleeves up for some reason. I don't know. We're getting deep
He's a
into
roll
it
your
here.
sleeves up kind of guy.
That was kind of chaotic.
Oh,
I'm
Derek
glad
Thomas.
that Marie Castillo joined us, but that was
Yeah,
loud and
that's fun.
chaotic, and then she's gonna go be on television. What a rock
Yeah,
star.
you know.
No
Yeah.
big deal.
Join our little podcast.
Yeah. I actually am gonna go be on TV too.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah. You can't see it. It's like super exclusive.
In the dark web?
Minneapolis. Yeah, it's on the dark web. Yep. It's on dark YouTube. So
That doesn't sound good.
yeah, I immediately regret saying it was on that website. That's not why I don't even okay,
Probably
that's
is.
enough.
Yeah.
We should be done before I say something weird and embarrassing
Yeah, probably.
about the dark web. Or Elvis Gerbach for that matter. Things have gotten crazy. Yeah, I feel like the Chiefs are going to win. I feel like I want San Francisco to win because it feels like that's kind of like the Vikings winning it because the offense looks similar and the blah, 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 blah. But
Yeah, is this still a pass first league? I keep tweeting it out that like stop telling me it's a pass first league because every team that's been good this year and in the playoffs it's because of the running game. But then people are like, oh, look at Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, yeah, but look at the Ravens and look at the
look at
Titans.
everybody else. And yeah,
Niners.
now it's like, and now you get here and it's like, oh, this team where like he's literally thrown the ball 15 times over
Maybe
the last
Mike
6
Zimmer's
quarters.
not that crazy for wanting to run the ball a lot.
Yeah. That was, and I mentioned it earlier, but like it bugs me out that, like, yeah, the team's a little bit better around him, but like, how come it's cool for Jimmy G to only throw the ball that many times? And that's
Yep.
efficient and awesome. But when
People are
Kirk
like,
only
wow,
throws
that's
the ball,
impressive.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
not the
even need
formula. That can't be the formula. It's like that's
Then,
totally the formula. And give him a high five for only having to throw the ball 5 times.
But you know what? If he did that, I
bought
think
into
it's
it, though.
I think it's probably different if you're in the NFC Championship game versus week 1 of the season when that happened
Fair,
to the Vikings
fair.
and
That's a fair
and,
point.
and the receivers were already being like, we're not going to get the ball this year, are we?
Yeah, that's a great point. I bet nobody stops coming to work the next week
No,
if they win the NFC Championship.
Yeah, they're not
game
gonna get
and only
a
throw
cold.
passes. Yeah,
they're not going to have a press conference
You're
next week with their hood over their face.
nobody's gonna have to apologize to anybody.
No
Don't worry.
apologies on podcasts coming next week.
What a goofy
That was-
season. We didn't really mean to, but we kind of just wrapped it
That was-
all up. That was a little
That
bit
was
of a
the
review
craziest part of the season, really.
there. By a mile.
Was the podcast apology.
Oh, and did you see came full circle in the end? At the end,
Diggs was on the podcast.
was he?
Yeah, at the end of the season, he was on
No
the
way.
podcast.
I saw Thielen was it Thielen who stopped on the route that led to the interception in that
yes.
game, and he apologized to Kirk, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh God,
Enough
just
with the
tie it up
apologies.
with a
Just go out
beautiful
and make
bow,
plays.
and
Come on,
yeah,
guys. It's football. You make mistakes. Get over it.
it
Don't just say
happens.
sorry. Just go
And
out
why
and do
are
it.
we- yeah, why does it have to be such a thing where we can't just say my bad and move on? That's I don't know, whatever. Super Bowl. Oh, hey, are you gonna watch Pro Bowl? Nah, me neither.
I'd like to say no, but you never know. A lot of people say that, and then like 10 million people end up watching it.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is they wouldn't do it if nobody watched.
It was back in Hawaii. Why does it have to be in Orlando? Just
I don't know.
go
Why
back
do
to
they have
Hawaii. Make it a fun thing. Like I saw Ryan Tannehill's going to the Pro Bowl today, and I'm like, he played like half the season.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
CJ Ham, man. I'll watch for that. Straight
CJ
up.
Ham, Danielle Hunter, Dalvin Cook. There's somebody else. Harrison Smith? Did he make it?
I don't know. Kendrick still won't be.
He didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible.
Anthony Harris didn't make it. Xavier Rhodes didn't make it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's crazy.
Dan Bailey didn't make it. He was screwed.
See, this is the thing that bothers me about the Pro Bowl is like you want me to watch because it's the best players. But it's obviously
Saints have-
not the best
The
players.
Saints have 13 players in the Pro Bowl.
Like why? For a team
I
that
don't even.
lost in
I
the
don't
first round of the
even. I don't
wild
even
card
think
round?
I can name 13 players on their team.
You know, I don't think I could either. Now that you're saying that, I can name 2, 3. I'm like 5.
Like
I'm at
5?
5. Yeah. I'm
Teddy,
about 5.
did Teddy Bridgewater get voted to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and he doesn't count.
Tavius Murray, is he going?
Yeah, it's strange. What a strange season. What a trip.
It really was. That's what I took away from like the playoffs and everyone. I've just been like sometimes just sitting here trying to figure out like what the Vikings can do now, and I'm like, I don't really know if they did anything wrong this year.
No.
Like they have to do better in important games. They have
But
to win
that-
some of those.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win the division game. You can't go 2-4 in the division.
Yes.
I don't, and I know the last game of the season doesn't matter because they didn't play their starters.
Yeah.
But still, you can't go 2-4 in your division if you want to be in the playoffs. And they still won 10 games.
That's what I was just going to say is, if anything, what we've learned from this season is that the margin of difference between being a number 1 seed or a high seed with a bye having home games versus a wild card divisional situation
small.
is razor thin.
Well, look
And
at all the
it
close
is the
games
difference between a couple of close games in the season and 2-4 in the division. That can't happen if you want a home game.
Look at all the close games the Seahawks were in. Like, their season could have been totally different. I think they're in like 10 like 1-score games.
They were,
And-
yes. I think they wound up finishing like 11-2 in games decided by like 10 points or less or something
So,
ridiculous like that.
I mean-
I could totally be pulling that out of there.
And you know what? The thing is, people are like freaking out about the Vikings and like, oh, I wish we had this, wish we had that. Every team that lost is doing that right now. Like all the fan bases, they're all doing that. I saw Seahawks Twitter or whatever freaking out last week about, is Pete Carroll, is he the answer? He's wasting Russell Wilson's career. So I'm just like, this is just going on everywhere. That's
all
how
yes.
it goes.
It is
Everyone's
just how it
freaking
goes.
out. Get to the offseason, get to the draft. People, get the optimism back up and come back and be let down next year. And then, I don't even know.
the spirit.
Let me see where's the Super Bowl next year? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I feel
As
like
long
it
as
should
it's
be
not in Miami. We'll,
indoors, right?
mm,
Because this year's outdoors.
it's probably L.A. next year, isn't it?
Oh yeah, or Vegas.
But one of the two. I was going to say whoever got the newest
draft?
stadium.
The draft is in Vegas this year.
Oh God Almighty! That's a great example
It's
though
in
of like
Tampa. What the hell?
Tampa.
Their stadium's kind of old now, I guess.
I think it is kind of old now, and it's probably going to be raining because it rains every year they play it there. It's stupid because it's in Tampa, of course. Whatever. I had something good on a Super Bowl location, but totally lost it. No idea.
Vegas, L.A.
Vegas. It was something about Vegas. You're totally right.
Coming
there.
back to Minnesota for a while.
Oh no! You know what it was? You know what it was the
So cold in the winter. It's weird.
Pro Bowl in Hawaii versus Pro Bowl elsewhere is because of how successful it was to move it. They just could have just left it at Radio City, the draft at Radio City Music Hall. That was dope. Awesome place for it. Same spot every time. We know what it looks like. We're familiar with it. But then they moved it, and it got more and more awesome every time they moved it. And so then they were like, "Oh, we could probably do that with this other thing too." No,
Well, they were doing that with they were doing that with the Pro Bowl even before.
right? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just I don't know why you got to ruin a good thing. Not that like nobody cared about the Pro Bowl when it was in Hawaii, but at least it was familiar and nice and comfortable.
They should play the
and I
Pro
knew
Bowl
that
in
I could,
like Mexico.
yeah. What? No, they should not do that. Absolutely not.
Play in the Dominican Republic. No one gets lost down there.
Wasn't Mexico? And then they try and play in Mexico, and like the air's super thin. It's like
They did play
high
there this year. It
elevation.
was like the Chiefs and Raiders, I think.
Yeah,
played
wasn't the sod a problem though? Wasn't the grass?
Oh,
an issue
yeah.
again?
It's terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah. So it's
So put all your best players from the Pro Bowl on one of those fields.
yeah, and let them go for it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you get a bonus.
organizations. Bonus $1 million, and good luck with the
Career's gone.
All right, bud. Happy Pro Bowl week.
Yay. Maybe the Vikings will get a new offensive coordinator / pretend defensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, possibly new assistant
DB's
GM.
coach.
We'll have to wait. DB's coach. For all of the stuff
Stefanski's stealing everyone away.
Yeah, for all the stuff that we have to we're waiting to discuss these things because nothing's happening. I'm not even hearing rumors or anything. So thanks to A. Castillo for joining us again. Make sure you follow all of her stuff. Part-time bro with underscores in between them. Good to talk to you, Adam.
Yeah.
Happy Pro Bowl week. Pump the Packers lost. Aaron Rodgers looked smart.
Normal.
Yep. Which is exactly
Average.
how I like it. All right, bud. Let's go, Vikes.
Let's go.
See you next
Bye.
time. Bye.